Tēnā koutou katoa, and welcome to your study prep session. My name is Tumamatu Rua, or more commonly known as Tu or Tu, and I'm the Student Life Manager here at MIT. Before I start on the session, I just want to thank you for choosing MIT as a place where you either begin or continue your tertiary journey. There are many places out there that you could have chosen to study at, but thank you for choosing us here at Te Whare Takiura or Monaco. I know there are some uncertain times with COVID and the alert levels changing, but I just want to reiterate that we are here for you, and together we'll be able to get through this. Now, without further ado, let's launch into your study prep session. And maybe sitting there wondering, what is study prep? Well, study prep is giving you all the most important information that you need to know right now at this point of time. There's obviously quite a bit of information out there, so hopefully this will streamline those things for you and also flag a few things that you might not have thought about but are important to know. So, in terms of the things that we will cover off today, I'll first of all talk about the differences between school or working and now that you're a student here at MIT. I'll talk about your campus, your course, student support that is available to you, and then also the learning systems which are good for you to know about as they will be important for your journey here at MIT. So the first thing I'll talk about is your school or work life, and now that you're a student here at MIT, and I'll first of all cover off how your time is split. So if you've just come from school, especially high school, this is typically how your day has been set out for the last 5 years. So you have different subjects at school. It's split between an interval and a lunch, and you do this every day. Even though sometimes you may have five one day and six the next, but you do this every day for the whole time that you're in high school. It's very similar with work. So this is my work schedule. So I start at 8:30, finish at around 5. My day is split up with obviously a lot of meetings, but then it's split up with food and the lunch break into morning tea and stuff like that. Whether you work night shift or maybe you do shift work and you do 6 days on, 3 days off, um, once you are at work, you typically follow, even though your days may be different, you typically follow the same pattern. Now, let's say you enroll here at MIT, you open up your timetable, you could be looking at something like this. So this was the timetable for someone who was doing a level 4 career prep certificate in education and social sciences. They had a class on Monday, Tuesday, Friday. They were finished every day by 3, and then on Wednesday and Thursday they had absolutely nothing. Now, depending on what course you're studying, this will look completely different. Some of our languages courses don't start till after 6. Some courses run from Monday to Wednesday, other Wednesday to Friday. But one thing consistent will be that when you look at your timetable, there'll be a lot more empty space than you usually would have seen, whether you compared to if you were working or at school. Now, one or two things usually happens when students see this, and that's one is that they'll fill that with extracurricular activities or watch Netflix all day, or maybe just do nothing. And the second thing that most people would do, especially if you have a family, is that they will fill it with part-time work. So if I'm not going to be inside of the classroom learning, I'm going to be outside of the classroom making some money. Now, one thing to be aware of is that the typical rule of thumb is that for every hour of class that you have, there should be an hour outside of the classroom where you're doing work. So whether that's study, working on your practical assessments, anything like that. Um, and that's something that you need to account for when you're planning your time. So I'm not saying don't get part-time work. I'm not saying don't have extracurricular activities, but I'm saying that there are other things that you may not see in your timetable that you need to account for. This also doesn't include your assessments, your assignments, and also your exam time period when a lot of that starts to ramp up and you need a lot more time. The next thing I'll cover off is, I guess, the grading system. So if you've just come from school, this grading system looks very familiar to you. You have some subjects attached to that are some credits, and then depending on how well you do, you'll get your results. So you achieve, merit, excellence, or not achieved. Now that you're at MIT, this is one of the grading systems you could be using. So you go back to your A's all the way to E's. Some of you may not have seen this at all, maybe on an American TV show. One big difference is that an E in high school is really good. An E at MIT is you need to come and see us, and we can have a chat about how we support you. But then obviously, yeah, you have your percentages. So if you get 50% in a course, that equals C minus and a GPA of 1. So you may be completely lost in terms of what I'm talking about. Your lecturing staff will help you with all of this, but it's just something to be aware of if you're so used to doing your achieves and excellences. The next thing that this is another one. So this is Another grading system that we use is that at the end of it, you've either completed or not completed. So it's pretty much pass fail. So this is some of the courses that I think some of our automotive students will do. And theirs is just straight. You either make the standard that you need to do, or you don't. The way it was explained to me is that if you're building a house or building a car, you can't really do things in halves. You can't build half a wall, half a house and sell it, build half a car and expect it to work. So you either make the standard, and if you don't, your lecturing and teaching staff will help you to get to the point where you can. The next thing I'll show you, I guess, is just whereabouts your certificates and your diplomas and everything, whatever it is that you might be studying, it's nice to have an overlook on whereabouts it sits. So all the way from level 1 all the way to level 10. The typical thing is that the level beforehand, it builds on the next one. So even though you're doing a level 3, it could lead you to a level 4. If you look at the graph, levels 1 to 3, the easiest way to think about it is that's your high school, level 1 to 3. That's NCA level 3 sits within that. Level 4 is kind of your career prep or your transition courses. Level 5 is where you start getting into your diplomas. So if you go to university, your first year is level 5, second year is level 6, and then your third year is level 7. And if you have a bachelor's degree, that's where that sits. But it goes all the way down to level 10. And the cool thing here at MIT is that we have heaps of different options at all the different levels. So wherever you're at, we have an option for you where after completing, you can build on it and go to the next phase. But to summarize, in terms of school and work in MIT, there's a lot more flexibility than if you were in high school or if you're at work. So even with your courses, you have the first 2 weeks to be able to chop and change your courses as much as you want, or even switch into a different qualification altogether. There's also pathway options. So that's the fancy word for, after I do my automotive level 3, I can do my automotive level 4. And in some courses, you can use your level 4 to go into a level 5 in a completely different study area. But that's what you call pathway. So there's heaps of different options now that you're a student here at MIT. I'll quickly go over your campuses. So obviously at the moment we're in lockdown, but you will eventually be on site. And I'll quickly go over some of the things that are important to note. So obviously this is our MIT Monaco campus, and across the road is our brand new Tick Park campus. So this is where Monaco, this is where nursing, business, digital technologies, health and counseling. And across the road, you've got our construction, carpentry, engineering, all of those things. So just some quick things to note. So in terms of transport, we're really lucky where, in terms of public transport, MIT Monaco is built on top of the train station, and then across from that, the bus interchange. We have an AT help desk on the ground floor of MIT Monaco, and because you guys are students, you'll get a concession card, which makes your fares a little bit cheaper, and our Ask Me team can help you out with all of that. In terms of parking, you'll need your student or staff ID to get in, and it costs $8 per day or $2 per hour between 6 a.m. and 4 p.m. on weekdays. Outside of these times, it's absolutely free of charge. Other important things to note at Tick Park, your lecturers will go over this, but there are PPE requirements. So closed-toe shoes are required and steel caps are required in certain areas. There's a cafeteria that's there. You also have some really nice spaces. So you've got multi-faith prayer rooms. You've even got a brand new basketball court that's just for you students as well. In terms of Monaco, it's a multi-level building, as you can probably see when you drive past it. But on the ground floor, it's your heat and eat areas. There's our Ask Me team. We have food outlets, and then through the different levels, we have our different academic teams, as well as really nice study spaces for everyone to be able to use. Now, for our Otara campus, this is where our languages, hospitality, horticulture, floristry, hairdressing, and others, this is where they are based. Now, this is a campus map of North Campus. Some of the areas that's good for you to know is obviously, so there's MP. So this is where our library is based on the second floor, and also where our learning advisors are based too. On the ground floor of this is our cafeteria. Obviously, it's where food can be found, also where you can top up your AT hop card. In terms of parking, we're really lucky. So the building on the far left of this PowerPoint slide is a multi-level car park, and it's absolutely free to park there, which is really, really nice. But then if you want to park anywhere else on site, it's $1 per hour or $4 per day. between 6 a.m. and 4 p.m. Outside of those times, everywhere is absolutely free of charge. If you're needing student support in the NA building or Dilworth building, that's where all of our student support teams can be found. So Ask Me, student support advisors, our disabilities team, counseling team, everything can be found in that one space. Now, in terms of your course, especially when it comes to COVID times, the best people to talk about your course is your lecturing staff. They will be able to give you all the most up-to-date information about how your class will be taught, depending on what alert levels we're in. Now, in terms of student support services, there's heaps that are available to you, but some of the most important ones right now is we have our student support advisors. They can help you with StudyLink or even hardship. TEFL is a thing that allows you, if you don't have a device, you can apply for this, and if you are successful, they will loan you a laptop or Chromebook to be able to use while we're in lockdown. Ask Me is where you will ask for any questions you have around your admission, your enrollment, or any program information that you or questions that you may have around any of these areas. In terms of student feedback, we want to know about your experience. So whether you're having a really good time or maybe there's something that you want us to fix, we have an awesome student feedback form where you can let us know about how your time or how your experience is going. So whether you want to give a compliment, raise a concern, or make a complaint, this is the place where you can do it. The next team is our library and learning services. So obviously, a lot of people think about books when they hear the word library and librarian. There's heaps of different things that they help with. So they have study-friendly spaces across all of our campuses. There are resources online as well as the stuff that you see on site. And then their staff can help you with multiple things, especially our academic learning advisors. So one thing to note is around academic misconduct and plagiarism. So academic misconduct is an attempt by students to gain an unfair advantage in an assessment, and there are some serious consequences. So obviously, don't cheat. A lot of people will know what that means, but then don't plagiarize is a little bit trickier. So plagiarism means that you're using someone else's work without showing that the idea is yours, isn't yours, sorry. So for example, if you see something in a book or you see something online, you can't just grab it and put it in your assessment without properly referencing. If you have no idea what referencing is, then that's perfectly okay. That is why our library and learning services team is there. Now, the last thing I'll cover is just our learning system. So we have a few different learning systems, and a lot of this can be found on our orientation and onboarding site. There's a nice how-to video to set all of this up. But in terms of what the different ones are, so we have Canvas. Canvas is our online learning system. So this is where you'll find all your different course content, and it's where a lot of your lecturing staff will contact you. Monaco Mail. So when you become a student at MIT, you get your a brand new Monaco Mail email address. This is where a majority of our MIT communications will be sent. So please check this often. Learner Portal. So this is where you can find information on enrollments, your results, your finances, and even your timetable. And you can even track your attendance on it. And then the last three is you have our career portal. So this is a really nice portal where you can register for jobs, find employers, and even have access to career resources. And then Microsoft Teams is our online platform, which some classes will use, but if we're in lockdown, we'll use it a lot more. And it's where a lot of our teaching will happen. And then Citrix is the last one. So this allows access to your MIT desktop through any of your personal devices, with a laptop or even your cell phone. So those are just some of the things that you need to know, and those are the most important things for you to know right now. Once again, like I said at the beginning, if you have any questions or you're feeling a little bit lost, which is perfectly natural in times like this, we are here for you. So please do get in contact.